Welcome to an RMSO Bigfoot podcast. Our driving roundtables are our form of a podcast. Uintas Mountains of Utah. We just barely crossed in from Wyoming. Guy horseback riding. All of his cow dogs.
He's probably camping right there.
Yep, that's
a shepherd wagon.
He's up here taking care of.
Oh, Christmas Meadows is right here.
Yeah, there's a long history of Bigfoot sightings in Christmas Meadows of the Uintas. As a matter of fact, the Uintas of Utah is an epicenter of Bigfoot sightings in and around these mountains. We've come up and hiked around the Christmas Meadows area several times in the past because the Bigfoot sightings in the summer homes that are here. A lot of times, a lot of the Bigfoot sighting reports are when they're getting their cabins ready for the year, so early in the spring, or shutting their cabins down late in the fall. Some of these people have claimed to have Bigfoot sightings on and around their summer home properties back here. So seeing those reports got us coming back here. We come to the realization that there are grizzly bears in Utah because it's the first grizzly bear tracks I've ever come across in Utah is back in here. It wasn't like, oh, that kind of looks like a bear track. These were in soft mud and they were perfect tracks. We know the difference between the grizzly tracks and the black bear, and these were grizzly. I don't know, it was a good like 8-9 years ago that we found those tracks. All the officials in Utah, the DNR and the fish cops and all that, were in denial that there's grizzly bears in Utah, and now just recently they have started to admit that there may be a few. But I'll tell you what, after seeing those tracks, I was convinced. I don't think the grizzly bears know that they're supposed to stay in the Tetons and Yellowstone. I don't think they read that handbook.
There's a lot of moose up here too. Lots of moose.
And I get excited when I see black bear and grizzly bear sign in a Bigfoot area, because that means there's resources to feed that Bigfoot if those bears are here, because they're after those resources too. See a lot of moose. We both have seen a lot of moose. And
there's antler scrapings on these trees right here. Lots of them.
Right now there's wildfires all over the Rocky Mountains, Pacific Northwest. Last week we were in the Salmon, Idaho area, and just lots of smoke from all the fires. So seeing this rain, this type of weather, is a welcome sight. We're happy to see it raining in the Uintas instead of the Uintas being on fire.
Yeah. Bears break into the cabins up here too. They just decide that it's easy pickings and they'll just bust down the door or break through a window and get in and rampage the cabin.
You gotta be careful about when and where you store your food out in bear country.
Yeah, you think you're safe inside a cabin, but they get in. Especially up here. Every once in a while, everybody will get a warning. There's a bear breaking into cabins.
Even though it's raining today, they have the fire level at extreme. You're not supposed to have campfires up here right now.
There's a deer. She should just stand in there.
Oh. Grab the camera.
I got her.
Hey.
Nice days like this, the animals will come out when they're usually sleeping because it's nice enough for them to be outside.
Yeah, I like it when it's nice and cool. The animals move around, and hopefully the Bigfoot will do the same. we're gonna take you guys to more places than just this Christmas Meadows place. We're gonna take you guys up over the top of these mountains. I'd like you guys to see kind of the whole area, because there's Bigfoot sightings all over it. As a matter of fact, we're going up over a pass where there's what's called Bald Mountain, and several sightings over the years on and around Bald Mountain. As a matter of fact, 3 or 4 years ago, some people come back from camping from there, reported a Bigfoot sighting. I guess several people in the camp saw the Bigfoot run down a clearing down Bald Mountain from tree line to tree line. When they first spotted it, is standing up there staring at everybody down in the campground. And then once it realized they saw it, it ran down to cover. The person that reported it said that most of the people that saw it packed up their stuff and left. They did not want to finish their camping trips after seeing the Bigfoot on the nearby mountain. It's like, yeah, we're done.
That's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. People that have never saw it or believe in it or don't even give it a second thought, they think it's a myth. And then once someone sees it clear enough or close enough to know that that's what it is, all of a sudden a monster has come to life in their mind. And some people don't deal with it very well. A lot of people will quit camping, hunting, fishing, wherever they saw it for a while. Sometimes it takes people a while to get over it and get back out into the forest.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I would handle it myself.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the situation it happens in. Seeing it from a distance is one thing, but right up in your face, that's a total different story.
What's the temperature outside?
It's 60 degrees.
Oh wow, we just came from 90 degrees. This is a very nice day up here.
You get off the mountain down in the valley, there isn't rain.
It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
This is way better.
I hope you guys like our form of a podcast. Over half the Bigfoot sightings that are reported from a car, that people see the creature from a vehicle. Some of the naysayers that are like, you're never going to see it if you don't get out of your car. That's not true. However, we're going to get out of the car and do some hikes. We just don't mix the two. Our hike videos, which we call expeditions, are different than our driving videos. We keep those separate, otherwise the video's just way too long. So we separate those for you. Everybody enjoying a nice, cool camping up here.
These people are from Iowa.
I'm gonna gear it down. Wow, so pretty out here.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have such a nice, beautiful mountain range, like an hour from our house. So, it's nice.
This mountain range gets the most rainfall, moisture year-round than anywhere in Utah. And of course, this mountain range is in the Rocky Mountains, and the Rocky Mountains run north to south. And this mountain range is kind of turned on its side. It kind of does a little east to west thing, and that may be the reason it catches so much moisture. High elevation, lots of moisture, lots of resources. That's probably why there's so many Bigfoot sightings here and surrounding these mountains. Yeah, all the communities that surround these mountains, you look at each one of them and start looking for Bigfoot sighting reports, and there are a lot of them. And Jenny and I have poked around in most of those places looking for the creature.
Some of these backpack trails up here, you can go for days on end on them and never see a person.
Some of these backpacking trails are over 60 miles long up here. There's one backpacking trail that I believe is like 68 miles long that goes from Moon Lake to Mirror Lake. And Moon Lake is on the south side of the Uintas, and Mirror Lake is we're close to Mirror Lake right now. We're on the north side. We couldn't get into Moon Lake last year. There was a giant fire just a few miles from Moon Lake last year, and Jenny and I tried getting into Moon Lake a couple of times. We like going there because of the Bigfoot sightings around there, and people that camp there, there's lots of people that report Bigfoot style vocalizations there at night.
We've heard them just on the other side of the hill from there.
There's a spot up near Yellowstone Canyon where you're up on the mountains above Moon Lake and couldn't look down on it, and from up there we've heard vocalizations many times, camping, during the daytime, at dusk. That's probably the most frequent vocalization place I've ever been. I tend to believe a lot of these people that report vocalizations out of that area because I've heard them myself.
Yeah, there's a lot. Almost every given time we've been up there, we've heard vocalizations of some sort.
Jenny and I have backpack camped up above Moon Lake. We backpack camped like the first week of August, I believe it was, and it snowed on us at night up there. It sounded like baboons.
Howler monkeys.
Yeah, it was really weird. I went out of the tent to go to the bathroom thinking it was raining and it was snowing. I get out of the tent in the middle of the night and I heard the primates, was what it sounded like, going off. And it was just across the little valley from us. On the other side of that little valley, across the way, there's some structures we keep an eye on. And it was just odd that those vocalizations were coming from those structure areas. Wow. I think we got to where the summer homes are. Yep, I see summer homes off to our right. So we're in the area where there's a history of reports of Bigfoot sightings here. Usually the Bigfoot are spotted early spring, late fall here.
There's a river off to our left, and there's brook trout in it. I mean our right. Yeah, out here in the meadow there's a really nice river. This is Christmas Meadows right here.
When our kids were younger, Jenny and I used to bring them out into the Uintas to go fishing. Yeah, we're getting close to where the road ends and you can only hike. And back down that valley along the river is where Jenny and I found grizzly bear tracks. Now, that was close to 10 years ago we found those grizzly bear tracks. I think it's funny when put photos out of Bigfoot tracks and people like, it's a bear. It's like, we can show you a bear.
Doesn't look any.
They're much different. Of course, more people are able to recognize the difference than not.
Sometimes the footprint isn't definitive and you can't tell what made it. It might be something like a bear stepping in its own footprint or another bear stepping in another bear's footprint to make a bigger one, because you just can't tell what it is.
Yeah, we usually track them until they disappear or they step in an area that makes the track more definitive. Soft dirt, mud, whatever. But it's tough to get a definitive track in grass or thick organic matter. A guy up here fly fishing. Wow, those clouds look like they got a lot of rain in them. So nice. A lot of people out here camping. I've actually never seen so many people up here camping at one time. I think everybody's trying to escape the heat in the valley.
Yeah.
Good place to do it.
Yeah, anywhere you can get away from 100-degree heat is great. A couple of times me and Kelly have come out here and spotlighted at night, and it's amazing what you can see up here at night. It's crazy. There are animals everywhere.
Remember that moose scared the crap out of us?
So get this, there's we're driving along, I'm driving, Kelly's spotlighting, and we have our windows rolled down. It's in the middle of the night. We're the only ones out there. It's quiet. And Kelly points the spotlight off on my side of the road, and right there is this huge, and I mean huge, hairy beast that has gray hair and black hair and brown hair, and it's got red eyes, and my heart just fell right into my stomach, and I screamed. I thought I was looking straight at a Bigfoot.
Well, it scared the crap out of me because it was so close.
It was so close.
I mean, I'm spotlighting on my side of the vehicle and decided to flip over and shine it on, you know, through your window on your side of the vehicle, and it's right there.
Right there.
Bam! And I mean, red eyes and
huge. And it ended up being a moose.
It took a couple of seconds to register that it was a moose. But you know, everybody talks about Bigfoot's red glowing eyes, so you see these red glowing eyes with your spotlight, and that's the first thing is like, oh my gosh, and plus they were so high off the ground.
Yep, it was huge.
And we've done a lot of spotlighting, and you'll spotlight stuff that have yellow eyes and white eyes and
greenish blue eyes.
I mean, people will say that, you know, it depends on the color of your spotlight what they reflect. I have to disagree with that, because the same colored spotlight will reflect back all kinds of colors. I think it just depends on the animal, how it gives off certain colors.
I've actually seen what was either a pack of wolves or a pack of coyotes up on the side of the hill, pacing back and forth. They're a huge pack of something, and they all had red glowing eyes, but there were so many of them. And there was like, I don't know, 7. You couldn't see the actual animals, you could just see their red glowing eyes, and they're pacing back and forth, pacing in all different directions and walking around in circles. So I just assumed it was a pack of some sort of dogs, because no other animals really pace and circle like that. But
where were you when you saw that?
We were up here. It was the same. It was when me and Jared were spotlighting.
Oh, the same night that the moose.
Yes.
Scared the crap out of us.
Yep.
Yeah, that was such a long time. That was the same week that we found the grizzly bear tracks.
It was the same week that we did that hike. You can pretty much see any animal up here you want. There's moose, and elk, and deer.
We saw Wolverine
Yep.
at the base of these mountains at Whitney Lake.
Yep, Whitney Lake.
Okay, I work with a girl not too far from Whitney Lake, but she says that her and her husband were camping there and they heard wood knocks, which they thought was weird, and then later on that night they heard like Bigfoot style screams. She's like, I don't know what it was, but those Bigfoot shows, it sounded like that, you know. She found out that you and I searched for Bigfoot, and so she had to tell me her story.
I wonder if that little side road would curve down around.
That's what I'm thinking. Just isn't anywhere convenient to park to check it out. We'll find something. Maybe if we go down this side road, there's a place to pull off.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like...
Okay. Okay, get to it. Better from here. This actually looks like a four-wheeler trail.
I know, but if you pull up...
There's a spot for us to park. Alright, let's go have a look around. I can see the river right down there.
Oh, can you?
Alright, do you want a rain jacket or anything? I'm gonna grab the other camera, you take that one.
It's from brushing up against the trees. Those logs I was touching had been burnt. There was ash on the outside of them.
That was a fun hike. My pants are soaking wet from walking through the rain-covered brush and stuff.
Yeah, my feet are soaking wet. I got a mosquito bite.
Really? Where? Oh, dang it.
I know.
I didn't even feel him get me.
There was mosquitoes all over in there.
Well, that one was sneaky. If you've had a Bigfoot sighting, make sure you send that sighting report to us at rmsobigfoot@gmail.com.
Please.
Yep. We like to visit sighting locations, so... And the things that we like to hear about is the description of the creature, how your sighting started, how it ended, how long it lasted, time of day, time of year.
How big it was, what color it was. Did you see its face? Did you see its hands? What did it look like? Did it make any noise?
Yep, just anything that you can recall. And you know, if your sighting happened yesterday or last week, that's cool. But if it happened a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we still want to hear about it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, it helps us formulate hotspots. You know, something that you saw 20 years ago, it may be in a spot that, you know, we've gotten 4 or 5 other reports out of, and it starts putting an area into perspective. I mean, we even visit 100-year-old Bigfoot sighting locations.
Yeah, the oldest one that we found is the Bowman.
Yeah, that one's like over 125 years old.
Yeah, it's in the Teddy Roosevelt book.
as far as we know, we're the only media site, television show, Bigfoot group that's knowingly visited the Ballman location. Because it's such a famous spot, and there's been television documentaries, books written about it, I thought it would be easy to find. I thought, I'll just go and check all this out, and nobody ever visits it. A lot of the TV shows, they just, reenact a generic location, like, good enough. Which makes sense. So we had to do a lot of research to figure out where it was. And now we visit it regularly. We tried getting to it last week, and that didn't work out. There was too many forest fires going on in that area at the time.
They had the road blocked off.
We talked to the fire chief in the area, told him, well, we can't go there. We want to explore new places. And he's like, have you been down here? Blah, 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 blah. And we're like, no. And he's looking at our vehicle, and he goes, I think you guys can make it. It's like, oh, that gives us a lot of confidence. He's like, you guys should have enough clearance. But yeah, we had to do some rock crawling and stuff. It was gnarly where he sent us, but we were able to make it, and it was pretty neat being in a new area.
Pretty steep.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you guys watch this to the end. This is the Christmas Meadows Bigfoot sighting hotspot, and then we want to take you guys up over Bald Mountain. Some places call it Bald Mountain, and I think the Uintas, they call it Mount Baldy. But there's been several Bigfoot sightings there, one just a few years ago, and it was a group sighting. A lot of people saw that one. And that's the direction that we're headed now. We'll take you guys over that pass, and you guys can see the surrounding area. I can absolutely guarantee that Bigfoot does not live his life in the spot that people see him.
Everyone would see him.
So this entire area that we're in is the creature's habitat. So that's one of the neat things about our podcasts, is you guys get to see the greater area of where Bigfoot lives, not just the spot that someone saw him, took a picture, or filmed him. When we take people via camera to Bigfoot sighting locations, and sometimes people will say, well, there's too many people there. It's like, well, I don't think Bigfoot read the handbook that, hey, if there's 50 people in a given area, I can't be here. I don't think they read that rule book. And there's a couple of things that have to take place for a Bigfoot sighting to happen. There has to be a Bigfoot, and there has to be a person to witness it. And the time of the year that there's most Bigfoot sightings is in the fall, when more people are camping and people start the hunts. A lot of the deer and elk hunts start up in the fall, so there's more people out there, and people are also going off trail hiking around, and I think that kicks the creatures around, gets them up and moving, and causes more sighting reports. Yeah, I'm amazed at people that will see the creature in small mountain towns, on the outskirts of town, or sometimes right in town. Like over there in Eden, over by Pineview.
Crossing the road.
Yeah, and then it was pacing the next to the car for a little while and terrified the people in it. And that's kind of down in town. I mean, it's not like suburbia, house to house. I mean,
it's a mountain town.
Yeah, there's a lot of space between the houses, and some farms and this and that, but it's just not your stereotype of where a Bigfoot's gonna be. But several occupants in the car all say, this is what happened to us. And then there's a stereotype that if there's a road, there's not going to be a Bigfoot. Well, I will guarantee that a Bigfoot cannot live its life without crossing a road. I'll guarantee it. There's just too many dang roads. They're everywhere, especially dirt roads.
Just about 20 minutes from our house is a canyon, and there's a canyon. It's pretty narrow, so it's a two-way road. Somebody actually saw it in the middle of the night. Was it a rainstorm or a snowstorm? When it was coming down.
It was raining in the middle of January. It was
sleeting or whatever.
It was a rainstorm in January.
And it was walking down the middle of the road in the canyon.
Right on the center line of the road. The guy had to go around it. He was in his vehicle at 2 a.m. in the morning in the middle of the week. It's raining, and he thought, of course, when you see a humanoid, that it's a person, and he's like, what is that guy doing walking down the middle of the road? And why is he wearing a fur coat? Just didn't make sense. And then as he got closer, he realized that it was a Bigfoot. It was a giant creature, and he had to go around it. It stayed in the middle of the road, forcing him to drive around it. So he got a good look at it.
Yeah, that thing must have been disturbed or dazed, or there was something wrong with it.
Didn't read the handbook that it can't walk in the road during a rainstorm.
I'm just saying that it usually stays away from people. It doesn't like to stand in the middle of the road.
I just like to be sarcastic about what Bigfoot's supposed to do. You know, everybody thinks this is what Bigfoot's supposed to do, but does Bigfoot know what Bigfoot's supposed to do? Yeah, that was a crazy sighting, and it was at the mouth of Wheeler Canyon, inside Ogden Canyon. Ogden Canyon's the main canyon, and then there's this side canyon called Wheeler Canyon that goes up to Snow Basin. Well, there's several houses that are grandfathered in that are right at the mouth of Wheeler Canyon. Back in the 80s, some of the people that live in those houses have had some Bigfoot sightings, that actually some terrifying ones where it's looking in the windows of their house. One of the best ones was, and scary one, lady and her husband had a house, and they had a young child there, and he had a job that he had to travel a lot, and he didn't happen to be home. She was coming down the steps at night, and in the hallway where the stairs turned to finish going down, there's a picture frame window. I believe it's diamond shaped, and there's the face of the Bigfoot staring through the window at her. Of course, she flips out. I mean, a monster looking in the window. And she makes sure everything's locked up, and she hears the creature going around the house. It's touching each one of the windows of the house. So she's scared that it's trying to get in, and she calls the police and grabs her son, and they huddle in one of the rooms she feels the safest in, and she can just hear it making its way around the house, touching each one of the windows and stuff. She calls the police, and they give her a runaround. That she calls like the Huntsville police, and they're like, oh no, that's Ogden jurisdiction, you gotta call Ogden. And she's telling them it's a prowler. She knows if she tells them, you know, that there's a monster or a Bigfoot or whatever, that they're just not gonna come. So she reports a prowler. Finally, the creature goes away, and cop shows up. Okay, the cop that shows up happens to be a very tall man. This guy was 6'7", and he's telling her what's going on, and the prowler was looking in this window. Well, the top of his head barely come to the bottom of that window, and he's like, your prowler had to be very tall, man, because I can't look in that window, and I'm 6'7". So this thing's jaw had to be able to sit on top of this guy's head. So this Bigfoot's like 8.5 feet tall that was looking in the window. Alright. She gets a hold of her husband, freaking out, and her husband actually makes fun of her. You know, he don't believe in Bigfoot, and just thinks that something's wrong with her, and he comes home and harasses her a little bit, you know, after his road trip, and she doesn't care. She's like, I'm done. me and the kid, we're not living here anymore, and she left. And so he was staying there while they were trying to sell the house because she refused to live there any longer. Several months down the road, the dogs are freaking out one morning. He goes out onto the back porch to see what they're freaking out about, and Bigfoot standing on his back porch.
On the porch?
It was on the concrete porch in the backyard.
His patio.
Yeah, on his patio. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway, all the ridicule he gave his wife kind of ended right there. And of course they sold the place, and since then I haven't heard of anybody else, but some people keep that stuff to themselves. That Bigfoot that the guy drove around in the rainstorm about 7 years ago in January, it was near the mouth of that Wheeler Canyon where that family had the problem with the Bigfoot looking in their windows and being on their back patio. And I do believe that Bigfoot sighting report is on the BFRO webpage. That's the first place that I come across it. They reported it to the BFRO.
At dusk around here, off to our left, are these marshy fields, meadows, and almost, I mean, this is the most moose I've ever seen in one place at one time.
I see moose here so often. When I come up here, I expect to see a moose, so I've been keeping my eye open for them.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm keeping my eye open for Bigfoot shapes. Yeah, the one at Mount Baldy, that campground, that was a daytime sighting. I was standing there observing the people in the campground, and then when everybody kind of directed their attention on it, that's when it decided to run down the mountain for cover. But yeah, that was a group daytime sighting. And it wasn't just those people in the one camp spot. It was several camping spots that saw it. I mean, that campground became a ghost town after that. Just about everybody packed up their stuff and split. So yeah, when you go to a popular camping destination and you show up to a campground and there's nobody there, makes you wonder what happened. Why is nobody here? This is a great spot.
Oh, a deer just crossed the road in front of us.
Is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
I just saw a flash of something out of the corner of my eye. Well, Jenny and I were hiking. We got lucky and we got a break in the rain, and then it started to thunder and lightning and started back up again, so we decided to come back, hike back to the vehicle.
We'll drive until it stops again, and then we'll get out and do some more.
I've got rain gear, and I don't so much mind the rain. It's just when it starts thunder and lightning.
I don't like lightning. That's a big me problem, and I just won't do it.
Slowing down in this spot. I'm actually going to pull in here. I've actually filmed and taken pictures of a moose in this area.
Yeah, we can look around. A lot of people will come here at dusk and watch for moose, and they just mosey on out of the bushes.
See these river bottoms with the willows and stuff, the moose and the bear. Just love these areas. And in the spring there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings down in the willows. I know Bigfoot's famous for being a ridge walker up on the mountains, but for some reason there's a lot of sightings down in the willows in the spring. The tips of the willow bushes that are sprouting are nice and tender, and the moose like them, so I have a feeling the Sasquatch may like them too, or maybe they're laying in wait for the moose.
There's usually creeks in there.
I see some meandering around.
Yeah, and you can get some trout out of those, usually. That's amazing how much animals don't mind the rain.
Better than the freaking blistering heat that we've had.
Whenever I was little and it would rain, my dad would take us to a meadow and so that we could sit and watch, and then you'd see animals most of the time. Should have brought an extra pair of shoes. I didn't know my feet were going to get wet today.
I had no clue that there was going to be rain here.
Me neither.
I'm happy there is, though.
Well, considering what it feels like down at the house.
Oh, I've got some mud shoes in here. I spaced that off. My mud shoes are in the tote that I keep in the back with all my emergency supplies.
Oh, yeah.
I got a pair of wool socks and my old mud hiking shoes.
Well,
we need to start keeping some of those in here for you.
Well, at the end of the day, I might need those socks so that at home my feet won't freeze.
Well, I think we got lucky with the break in the rain. That might be the only decent hike we get. I mean, even though I have rain gear, it's raining too hard for my camera equipment.
No bueno.
I do have a water-resistant camera. It sucks, though.
And we didn't bring it because it was 100 degrees.
Oh, crud. That's in my other camera bag. Oh, I didn't bring it. You're right. Dang it.
It was dry as dirt and 100 degrees.
We actually changed where we were going to go at the last minute, too.
Yeah.
We were going to go to Franklin Basin because there's been some recent reports of vocalizations in that area. Well, we Bigfoot and go through that area constantly, a lot, and we haven't been in this area for a while, so we just wanted to change it up, and I'm glad we did because the rain, we haven't seen rain in quite some time, and this is nice. Those of you that follow our channel, there was the very end of October, the beginning of November of 2020, there was the Sinks Bigfoot video filmed in Logan Canyon, and we went up, investigated, and a couple miles from there we found dozens of Bigfoot tracks, and it looks like two different individuals. Even though there was only one Bigfoot on video, we ended up finding two sets of tracks. Well, about 5 miles south of where we found those tracks in Franklin Basin, there was another Bigfoot sighting. The same time we're up there checking out tracks. So it sounds like the creature's moving south. So that Franklin Basin has had some action. Also, the plow truck driver that was on finding Bigfoot, he had the Bigfoot run across the road in front of him while he was plowing snow one winter. So when, I saw some lightning. So yeah, when I get these reports of vocalizations coming out of Franklin Basin, I need to take them seriously because Bigfoot gets spotted there quite often. We're only 90 miles from Franklin Basin. Where we're at right now, the river that's off to our left actually flows past there and makes it into Bear Lake, the Bear River. It starts here, and I forget how long it flows, but it meanders back and forth like 1,000 miles, whatever it is, but it actually only makes a 90-mile journey because of all the twists and turns and stuff it takes. Wow.
Yeah, look at that, it looks so neat.
Those cliffs off to our left?
Yeah, now that they're all wet, all their colors are showing through. And my ears filling up.
Mine keep popping because of the elevation changes.
Yeah, I can feel like it's close to nosebleed time. How far up are we?
I know we're going to be getting up about 10,000 feet. We're 10,200 feet right now.
Yeah, I can feel it.
I think may get close to 11,000 feet at the top of the pass. We're high enough in elevation it can snow any time of the year. Snow in the middle of July or August.
We're just dropping down into the south side of the Uintas right now, to Duchesne County.
We spend a lot of time on this side of the Uintas.
Most
Searching.
of our time.
It's our territory. There's Mount Baldy.
It's a big one.
Several Bigfoot sightings on and around that mountain. One of them that scared off an entire campsite of people.
This part of our Uintas reminds me a lot of Tahoe. All the rocks everywhere.
Our voices were on Tahoe last night.
That's true.
Our friend Don Oriavong and Sherry Oriavong that run Bigfoot Evidence, they were doing a live Bigfoot expedition in the Lake Tahoe National Forest area, and they called us while they were doing their live thing to talk about a breakdown of a Bigfoot video that some guys in Michigan sent us. Our voices were in Tahoe last night. That was pretty cool. They live in north central part of California, so they do a lot of Bigfoot investigations there near where they live. We actually, I think it was 2016, we met them west of Lake Tahoe and hiked up to the Enchanted Pools out by Wright's Lake to investigate a Bigfoot sighting location where some backpackers got harassed by a Bigfoot, one or more Bigfoot at night. Pretty neat, compelling story. So we met up and did that hike together. That was fun. And that Tahoe area is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Pretty. We're passing a whole bunch of lakes right now. I don't think you can see them.
The camera might pick up some of them. It's got a wide frame of view. A little break in the wind, rainstorm. This is nice. 10,500 feet. My ears keep popping.
I know. My face feels like it's gonna explode.
You can feel the pressure of the elevation change. Your internal pressure trying to get out. Yeah, last week when we was in Salmon, we climbed to the top of the mountain out there to go to this lake. Jenny and I made sandwiches at the lake. Well, the elevation change, she opens up the mustard and it explodes everywhere. And then I open up the mayonnaise and it explodes everywhere. Kind of want to open that up in a bag to contain the explosion. Happens to us all the time. You think we would learn? Here's Bald Mountain area. We're on the Bald Mountain Pass.
The summit is 10,759 feet. Well, that's what the road reaches. But it's high up here.
I think that's the peak, the top of the pass.
Yeah, we just passed the summit.
It's all downhill from here.
Pretty up here.
Camping season's definitely on.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody camp there.
This is the most people I've seen camping up here at any given time. When we got to the Meadows trailhead, there was so many people there, which is fine, but I don't like to go out looking for Bigfoot evidence with that many people, because I think it compromises everything. If you hear vocalizations or whatever, it's like, well, there's 24 people back here hiking. It could be them. So I like to go where I know there's no other people, so if I hear something, I know it's not someone being silly or whatever. And so Jenny and I went off to some random place in the forest and went hiking where we know there was nobody. But that's all good. It got us to go off trail. That's what Brody really likes to do. Brody loves going off trail. When we go hiking with him, we don't stay on the trail very far, very long, and he heads off trail into the forest. Someone has a yurt.
Oh wow!
We've dropped to 1,000 feet elevation already.
Oh my gosh!
Which is causing my ears to pop again. A lot of these mountain peaks are above the tree line.
Yeah, they can't grow anything on them. Right off to the left, I've been backpacking a couple of times out there.
Did you hike out to a lake or?
Yeah, it was a lake. I think it's called Lake Jordan. But it takes a while to get there. And then right above it is another lake called Blue Lake. But the couple of times I went there, I didn't see another person the whole time. 3 or 4 days we're there.
Yeah, you can't pull your trailer up to the spot. People usually don't want to camp there. You had to hike in with all the stuff on your back.
Yeah, it was nice. The only thing I don't super dig about backpack camping is the taste of the boiled water. Just not a big fan.
It's nasty. My parents used to take us a lot of places when I was a kid, camping with our camper, that we had to boil water. Ugh. My mom had a hard time getting us kids to drink it. My mom would put cocoa powder in our water, and that got us to drink our water.
You know,
yeah, that takes the nastiness out of the boiled water.
I took
some coffee or some cocoa or something.
I took Kool-Aid, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll help. No, it just tastes like burnt Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I have to admit that the hot chocolate still tasted off, but it was a whole lot better than the nasty boiled water.
I can see cocoa tasting way better. At least it's a chocolatey flavor, not burnt cherries or whatever. I love hiking equipment though. It's fun. They're always coming out with something new, and
yeah, we've got all of our backpacking equipment. Get my lightest, littlest sleeping bag.
I like the new backpacking meals. I think that beef stroganoff is delicioso.
Is that what we had the last time we went?
Yeah, we had beef stroganoff, and then the next night we had chicken and rice, which is good too. That was really good.
Backpack camping's fun and all, and get you out there in that remote spot that you think you might get a Bigfoot encounter because no one's around. But we have so much camera equipment. As a matter of fact, that time that we went, we probably had 3 or 4 handheld cameras, the batteries, SD cards, other equipment those cameras need, microphones and all that. And then we also had game cameras and stuff. And there's no way we could have got all that back with us. What ended up happening is Brody and the girl he was dating at the time, they carried all of our camera equipment back there for us. They hiked back in there with us, and Brody even helped us set up our camp and everything, and then they hiked out. And a couple of days later, when we hiked out, we did it in 2 hikes.
Yeah, we did.
We hiked all of our camera equipment out to the vehicle, come back, and got the rest of our stuff. So it's a lot of effort to to do that when you're wanting to, try and catch Bigfoot on film. And we have different cameras for different reasons. We got 2 cameras that can zoom in like 2 miles. A Bigfoot in a clearing on the next mountain peak, we got a chance at getting with those cameras. And then we got our IR, our night vision camera. And then we like to set up game cameras around our camp in case a curious Bigfoot comes in to check us out. I'd rather have that slim chance than no chance. Yeah, that was awesome of Brody to hike in our equipment. He even dug us a fire pit and set up the rocks around it.
I don't think he even felt good that day.
No, he wasn't feeling good, but he did it anyway.
Yeah, he did.
And the girl he was dating does not like camping, doesn't like outdoor activities. It's not her thing, so that was pretty awesome of her too. She comes up and helps us out doing something that she just totally dislikes. Yeah, she's not a Bigfooter or a camper or anything like that. She probably thinks we're crazy. We're out searching for the creature. I even asked her a few times, "You think we're nuts?" She like hees and haws, and I'm thinking, yeah, she thinks we're nuts.
My ears just popped again.
I want to see how far we are from that backpacking location. I know we're getting pretty close. I think we have it on saved on our GPS. Wow, all the stuff that pops up. We're so close to a lot of places.
Probably about 27 miles.
We're between 25 and 27 miles from the Bigfoot sighting hotspot that we backpack camped into. Wow, I just seen a giant cave up there. All these people got rained on and can't have a fire.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed a Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization form of a podcast, our driving roundtables. You get to see the whole area where Bigfoot lives. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.